Did you tell Steve he's our backup player?
Yeah. Yes, I'm streaming.
Oh shit! Hi. What's up?
Hey everybody! I hope you heard this domestic scene slice of life from Erin's Erin's household just as we.
Hi, Steve.
Just as we began. Hey Steve, what's up? Hey everybody! Thank you so much for coming in. We're gonna let Erin be mortified there for a second. All right, Erin, this is absolutely not the worst thing that's ever been said on the hot mic over here. Just
guarantee that's not the worst thing that's ever been said on.
no, there's a reason why we don't put
either.
like our green rooms on hot mics.
There's several reasons, and I could name who they are right now, but they might be watching. They know. They know.
Yeah, they know. They know, and they're proud. Hey, everybody! Thank you so much for joining us here tonight as we play Shadows Linger, a Dark Ysterra game, Miko's homeworld, this fantasy homeworld of Ysterra, which is usually a place of heroic fantasy and beautiful young people engaging in bucolic enterprises as they galump through the sky of beautiful Ysterra. And then Miko was like, hey, you want it for a weekend? And I gave it back broken and dirty and, just smelling bad. So.
You've literally broken nothing yet.
Yeah, yet. So we're playing this little game of ours, little Dark Ysterra, Shadows Linger, and we are using the 5e rule set, but the version of Lord of the Rings published by Really Publishing. And there's several things that I've tried to do alone in my life, and the only one that really has not been better alone, actually most of them are not better alone. Actually, come to think of it, none of them are better alone. Well, man, life lessons come at you fast. Is to play role-playing games. And so I have invited a bunch of people who not only are absolutely gems of humanity, they are also devastatingly handsome and incredibly talented all. And so I would like to introduce one of them and then let the rest of them popcorn each other into introductions. And I was just going to name Miko because he's not looking, not paying attention, but I will instead...
Always listening.
Go with Alex. Hey, Alex.
Man, I felt that in my bones.
Did you?
In a way that, I purposely sit third row from the front middle so I never get picked on kind of way.
Yeah, but on the screen, you're the first. You're right next to my thing, so...
Fine, I guess. Oh, okay. I'm Alex. You can find me on socials at Roll for Alex. Today, I will be playing the human captain, or barding captain, I suppose, named Odette Thornwell.
Would you like to pass it a buck to?
No, just me now.
Just you now? All right. And on that note...
Night, everyone.
Yeah.
And on that note... Well, Miko, since you're there...
Oh, hi. Since I'm here, I might as well tell people, hi, everyone, I'm Miko, otherwise known as the OKS GM. I created this crazy effed up world, and now Bleak is applying his own crazy effed up methodologies to it, and I'm here for it. I tonight will be playing Mattis, the elven scholar, who I think we've already started to uncover a little bit of his psychosis. We'll see where it goes from here.
Mental illnesses, yes.
Let's pass it off to Kay.
All right. Hi, I'm Kay. I am playing Wint today. Wint is a non-binary lesbian, I suppose. I have been really loving them. Everything's been going really swell for them so far. Slept great. So, ready for the next hurdle. Can't be too bad. So not a Bleak game after all. I'll pass it to Erin, please.
Yay! Also, I love non-binary lesbian. That's my love language. Hi, I'm Erinmylaundry. You can find me here on Erinmylaundry or the TTRPG Collective. I'm playing Ginny Gallinsby, a Selkie who is currently in seal form, and we love that.
I was going to try to sing a seal song, but I totally blanked on all of them, so there went that bit. There was a thing and the rose on
the rose
sing. Hey, Varl, thank you very much. Let's sing a Varl song. So, Varl, thank you very much for the bits. everyone gets a advantage thanks to the awesome Barrel.
Thank you.
My
Kay
friends.
has a question, and I'm pretty sure it's the same question that I was about to ask.
Okay.
Do they stack from
Ooh.
last time?
Yeah, you keep the old advantages and
Fucking A.
Okay. Shoutouts. Raven Sarah Knight. Super Mod. Thank you, Raven Sarah. We love you. Hey Sean, what's up? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us. We're gonna have to start working on some of these advantages because Ginny's sitting on like a pile there.
I'm
That's what I
using them
do.
every friggin' roll, man.
We will work on that tonight. Thank you very much to Raven, Sarah, our mod, best mod, super mod, and Shit Disturber in the Discord. We hired Raven Sarah to put out fires, and Raven Sarah's out there starting more fires than we've ever had before. So we love Raven Sarah very much. Thank you very much. We also have music by Tabletop Audio. Tim over at tabletopaudio.com. Awesome music. Please do check them out. And we'll be using a map, maybe if the players, mess up, by a good friend solution. My friends, last time when we met upon the island of Tenebrum, you had arrived ashore in the village of Sorrow and encountered a group of people called Umbrians who had been living on this island when the island was transported apparently from some other world into here. They had told you that for a very long while they had, like the followers of Delvorminath, felt very listless, very passionless, very undriven, but that recently things have started coming back. And in fact, one of their things is that they have what they call skull singers, who are people who are using the skulls of their ancestors, contact them and gain, you have no clue what kind of powers, but they get something from that. And that before they could not enter in contact with their ancestors, but had been able to start doing so very recently. Whilst you were dealing with that, our Selkie friend Ginny had saved her lover, who is a follower of Delvorminath, from an attack by another follower of Delvorminath, and brought him for safety to the Umbrian village. A lot of you had met together, and at that point, a group of emissaries from a nearby castle, a race of beings called the Virlin, had shown up, very much the opposite of the Umbrians. They're tall, red skin, very fiery, very passionate, and they had requested your presence at the court to attend their leader, the Voivod, in order to, simply say hi, I guess, maybe just tea and crumpets, whatever's going on. You went off through a forest called the Vermilion Wood with them, and arriving at a sort of fountain, a very interesting little place called the Waters of Lamnath. You had found a fountain amidst this sea of crimson trees and crimson grass and this entirely red world. A few of you had looked at it with suspicion. A few of you just threw yourselves in it. Specifically Ginny, who just went totally YOLO, jumped right in it, transformed for the first time in a while into her seal form, and was able to go swimming very, 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 very deep. Mattis himself had approached the waters, but had resisted the urge to drink from it. The other two, meanwhile, Odette and Wint, had been keeping their distance from it, and both had seen in the forest a strange figure wearing a cloak and carrying a red-bladed sword, who had been spying on them and disappeared through the forest. After which you had decamped, gone to find a place to rest for the night. Your dreams had been greatly, I'll say upsetting, but certainly you had very, very strange dreams. All of you except Wint, of course, who slept like a baby. But you had a dream, the rest of you, a dream of very, very intense emotions and actions about things like getting drunk and eating or having sex or killing people. And the dreams are very intense and disturbing. They featured other members of your group. And then in the end, you had seen a tall tower lit in green magic, and the sky above it had opened, split apart, and revealed the giant maw. And that is where we had called it last time. A couple of you had an impact from the pool, having jumped in the pool. GINNY, you had gained some shadow, but you had also gained this strange ability to get all advantage on all rolls related to achieving your passion. And this is in effect until, certain things happen. And as far as Mattis, you had received some shadow for being close to the pool.
But did not get any benefit from.
But did not get any benefit from it. Because, you got to go all in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All in or not at all.
Got to learn from the best.
Do you have any questions before we begin in earnest here?
How much detail did I get on the person wielding a blade in the woods?
Really not at all. You just saw a creature with a cloak. It was very difficult to see at them. The only thing that stood out was this big red-bladed two-handed sword that was on their back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anything else I can answer before we... No?
You had said that we were going to get an opportunity to perhaps backtrack just a tiny bit and factor in some RP moments.
Yes, absolutely. So, either before you settle in for the night and have the dream, or in the morning, whichever one you prefer, you can certainly take some moments here to interact with either the NPCs or with each other, however you want. I think perhaps there might be a moment to be had after GINNY comes out of the pool in seal form. I'm sure Mattis has probably some questions about that and whatnot. But how far back would you like us to go?
I don't know. Well, actually, clarification question.
Yeah.
When GINNY came out of the pool, was it just GINNY and Mattis in close proximity?
Yes.
At that point, everybody else was pretty far back?
Yep.
Okay. Then I think if we could backtrack a little bit to that.
Excellent.
Mattis would have been basically staring kind of in fascination, mouth agape at GINNY, kind of waiting to see what they did in this form. There was an implication that he somehow knew that it was still GINNY because of like colorations and such, I think, correct?
Yeah. The way that she has the red streak down her back, and then she's got like the glass, like the sea glass blue eyes. I think if you were to stare, I don't think GINNY would be able to speak in that form at all. But I think if you were to stare, she'd probably like blow water at you, like very playfully.
I think he just waits for probably quite some time for her to speak or say something, as he is basically analyzing everything he possibly can with his eyes, just going over every part of her form that she is transformed into.
I think she would kind of swim up to you and make it as clear as possible that you're not gonna be able to like speak with her, but she can understand you. So I think it's more of a like she'll like nudge your leg with her nose, and then kind of like.
And I think that physical contact would kind of jolt him out of his, gawking fascination enough to stammer out, I have so many questions to ask, and I don't even know where to begin.
want to have been starting to make my way over there, saying to Odette, like, keep an eye out. I think there's something out here. Maybe you can talk to her, our guide, get some answers out of her. Wink, wink. Or just maybe blink. I don't know. And so,
do you have something in your eye? I don't.
Passion. So I'll come up to Mattis and I'll be like, I think that's Selkie. When I was young at the lighthouse growing up there, sometimes my siblings and I would play too close to the water and we'd fall in. And there was one time I did, and I was saved by a Selkie, and this one looking very familiar. Thank you.
That's fascinating. I've never heard Selkie of this form before. I mean, there's plenty of stories and bastardizations of horribleness that sailors are confused and threatened by when it comes to such stories, but I've never really taken stock of any of them to speak of. And
I didn't either until I came face to face with it.
No, what I mean is I don't take stock in the notion that they're dangerous or anything like that. So you saying that means a great deal to me. He could barely take his eyes off of GINNY in this form.
I think GINNY very much full charisma comes out as she is like super stoked to be a seal for a little bit. And she just kind of like, I don't know, like a cat that like knocks over shit on purpose and like makes sure that you're watching. Like she just kind of jumps in, she'll make splashes. It's very SeaWorld-esque and a fantasy SeaWorld, of course.
Are you making sure our shoes are a little bit wet?
Yeah, exactly.
I have so many questions. At some point, Mattis, when GINNY is not, playing around, Mattis will get very, very close to the water and try to stare down into it, seeing the bottom and knowing that GINNY had disappeared. I think he's going to be hesitant, and probably at some point somebody will have to say something in order for him not to go in, or in order for him to like come out of that just fascination state. And I think Odette in particular might even recognize some of that fascination state in, the driven nature of which our patron Ascendant, the things that, that knowledge does to us.
I feel like there's probably the watchful eye of a parent, like, okay, they have to learn to make mistakes. The other one came up just fine, just learn to make mistakes smart. But there's definitely eye contact, like, oh, come on, man, don't do it. I wasn't allowed to save the last one. God, don't do it.
I think if you're kind of over there hesitating at some point, the emissary will sort of saunter on over in a very sashaying way and say, you best know that you really want to go in, if you're going to go in, to go in without a firm desire to do so is
no, I understand. It's the question of how much such an endeavor might jeopardize what we're currently doing, and I don't want to do anything like that. So
nothing can jeopardize what we're doing. We're simply traveling to meet some folks. There's nothing on the line here.
For you, maybe.
The original fountain of Lamneth, which was on our world, Lamneth meaning ancient, is where my people would draw sustenance a long time ago. It was always symbolic, but Some time ago, we did discover that this place that we rebuilt as an honorific to the original Fountain of Lamnath had fresh waters seeping from the underground. They don't have quite the same particularities as those of the original Fountain of Lamnath, where we came from. Those were different, but these seem to have a somewhat different effect on each person who drinks from them. In order to know what that is, you have to drink from it, but it is possible that the experience may not be to your liking, but I can assure you that it will not derail anything. There's nothing on rails. I don't know exactly why you're here or how you came here or what you're doing here, but I am certain that whatever plans have been laid out for you will survive your encounter with the Fountains of Lamnath. You may simply not enjoy the experience. Then again, she looks over at GINNY. It appears that some of you enjoyed it quite a bit.
Enjoyment of the experience is never a goal for me.
Enjoyment of the experience should be the only goal.
No. For others, perhaps, but not for me.
You're thieving from yourself. You are shortchanging yourself. You are taking everything that is worth living about life, and you are throwing it out in favor of accumulating numbers and pebbles and notions that at the end of the day you will not be able to take with you into the other world and will serve you nothing on a long, cold night.
Perhaps we can merely say that what you enjoy and what I enjoy are greatly different things.
The brain is such a small organ when compared to the rest of the body.
But the rest of the body wouldn't function without it.
Well, certainly would be making less mistakes. But if you wish, I do not mean to deter you from following the course that you wish to lay before yourself. I'm merely advising. You found the experience pleasant then, did you? GINNY, is that your name?
I would say GINNY probably has changed back at this point. Right? We haven't really talked about how long it lasts, but...
No, we also haven't talked about what happens to your clothes. I think that right now you see them at the bottom of the pool. When you changed, they would have fallen into that pit and disappeared. Yeah. But now that you've come back out, you would see like your clothes floating and then the stuff that was heavier like just sitting at the bottom of the pool. And for modesty's sake, I will say that you managed to keep some of your undergarments on.
Oh, okay. That's a fancy transformation. Okay, so just like starter character looking, coming out with my hair wet, wringing it out. And you just see her like ugly laugh, like guffawing, like the most fun she's had in a really long time. She's been taking care of her sick paramour and everything, so this is like a really let her hair down. So she hears her name and she's just like, oh my god, yeah, that was amazing.
Would anybody else then like to partake whilst we're here? And I would suggest we move forward a little bit and make camp, but if you wish to discover what the Fountains of Lamnath have in store for you, please do not hesitate. GINNY, dear, would you help me? I feel I would like to discover what Fountains of Lamnath have to offer me, as Tavain comes shuffling forward, leaning on a walking stick that he's acquired.
Absolutely. Come over here, we'll get you into the water.
And he lets you help him and guide him, and You can see his wounds are starting to heal a little bit, but they're still bothering him. And he'll sit down on the edge of the pool and he'll look into it. And after a moment, he'll reach in with his hand and take some of the waters in his hand and drink from it. And you'll see he'll get like 1,000-yard stare for a moment. And then he'll look at you, Jenny. He'll look at you. And he'll put a hand on your shoulder and he'll come really close and he'll whisper in your ear very, very softly. Nefra Sadiel. And then he'll pull back and he'll look at you and he'll smile. And then he'll get that strange 1,000-yard stare again and then kind of shake his head and go, "Oh, that was interesting. I think I'm done here, darling." And
what did you say?
I don't know that I can talk about it just yet. I need some rest. Would you help me, please, dear?
Yes.
Your
yes,
things
of
in
course.
the water, we should get them.
They are very far down.
Oh, please allow me. And the emissary snaps a finger and one of the guards comes out and he's got like a long spear and he'll go in and he'll start fishing out your things.
Okay. I'll help my my honey bunny out of the water. Kind of like.
You have probably some dry clothes in your bag, so you could put on something dry and hang these somewhere for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Your Tavain looks somewhat perturbed and a little kind of withdrawn at everything, and he'll let you sort of guide him back to the side of the road, and he'll sit down on a log or on the rock, and he just seems kind of lost in thought.
Okay.
What would the rest of you be doing?
I think during all of that, to kind of coincide with my disappearance there, Mattis had basically just moved off to the side and had pulled out one of his notebooks and was writing and drawing furiously within his notebook. But as Ginny is helping, I'm sorry, what was his name again?
Tavain.
Tavain, helping Tavain off to the side, he will approach and he will just say, "Perhaps when you're comfortable enough with having known me, do me a favor and ask what the question is that I might ask of you that is of a great personal nature, but only when you're ready." And then he'll just walk off.
Ginny definitely nods at that respectfully.
What are Odette and Wint doing?
Well, I'll approach the emissary and mention that noticed a figure in the woods. Is it do we have any protection with us? Could anyone be following us?
She'll look at the 4 knights that are with you. I believe we're quite safe. There are several inhabitants on this island, and it's very possible that some of them would have made their way into the forest. But did you see a person, or did you see some kind of animal, perhaps?
I saw a big, 2-handed blade. So...
Was it on its own, or did it have a wielder?
It did have a wielder. I didn't get a good look. But
well, you know what they say, Wind. Not the size of the blade that matters.
It's that there's a stranger in the woods?
Yes, exactly. And we should be very wary, but not too wary. I believe we were safe enough, but thank you for bringing it to my attention. I'll make sure the guards know. And what's Odette doing?
It is a little bit of torn of where to look. There's some shenanigans happening with the kids. There's the person in the woods. And when Wint goes to tell the emissary about them, kind of nodding in the background with everything that you were saying to support it. And it just seems like I can't get comfortable kind of any which place, torn in any direction of where to pay the most attention to.
The emissary will look at everyone and say, "Are we finished with the Fountains of Lamnath, ma'am? Mattis, will you be partaking, or have you decided it?"
No, not now. I'll perhaps come back another time and see what I can make of it. Maybe when I have an opportunity alone.
Well, there's one thing to be said about fountains, is that they tend to stay where they are.
Unless they travel across plains or something.
Well, this one did not. In fact, we rebuilt it here. I said it's quite different than the original one. It was meant to be simple, but, well, symbols have a way of gaining power when you least expect them.
Fascinating. And he just goes back to continuing to write down notes.
Captain Thornwell, are we ready to proceed then? You seem a little bit, well, I don't want to say lost, but you seemed a little bit unsure where you should be flipping to next.
I wouldn't say lost, just
uncertain of the way forward.
I assume we followed the path. And like wave vaguely in the direction we were headed. I worry about the Blade Man, and I worry about, and like wave vaguely in the direction of everyone else. But we can't waste our time worrying.
No, and whatever comes of it, whatever intentions this large bladed man has, I'm certain will provide at least a measure of entertainment for all of us before, well, some people inevitably die, but, you know, that is the way of life.
That is typically how battle works. Hopefully we can keep ours safe.
Well, hopefully. I have full confidence in you, Captain. You're a very stout and capable sort.
Yeah, good observation. I'm just going to go ahead and start walking ahead.
Let's go then. Rowan's ready. And she will turn around and start walking, and the rest of you will follow suit. Eventually, not too far from the fountains, you will find a quiet little place that has been used before for camping. You will set up camp, establish yourselves there. Is there anything that anyone would like to do whilst you are in camp, including if you needed healing? But I don't think anyone needs healing at this particular point.
No, I'm good.
Excellent. You continue moving through the Weald after waking up the morning after your dreams. The dreams don't stay with you, but once you wake up, you start realizing that the whispers you're hearing have become a little bit more comprehensible. You catch here and there a few words. Things like, "You ate me. You consumed me. You took everything. I will take everything in return. I am here. I am returned. I am come for you." And these unsettling, shadowy whispers keep playing in your ear throughout the day. As you continue moving forward, you eventually come out of the forest and see ahead of you a large keep surrounded by mountains. The keep itself is made of dark gray stone that seems to have risen perhaps from the ground itself. It's a vast red city castle that rises from among the dark stony peaks and crimson trees that surround it, looking for all the world like a giant heart poking out between cracked, blackened ribs. It seems to pulse rhythmically in time to the strange lilting music that's emanating from within it. The stained glass windows stand out starkly against the deep crimson of the walls, and the sea of vermilion trees surrounding it seem to shiver and tremble, as if caressed in the most intimate manner by the warm, slightly sweet-scented breeze that moves through the branches and leaves. The foliage heaves and swells with every breath of the wind in a languorous dance that seems wild and barely restrained. Your traveling companions, the Vuurlion emissary and her escort, seem revitalized and energized, moving with this renewed energy. A warmth is emanating from the ground beneath your feet, one that crawls slowly and sensually along your skin beneath your clothes, leaving behind a blush and a sensation of a lingering promise. As you gaze upon this vista, words come to you, as if carried by the wind or perhaps the shadows, cutting through the other whispers, yet all joining in a cacophonous voice that says, "I am awake." Marvelous, isn't she?
Like anything I've ever seen, actually. I'm curious, Bleak, are there any emotions conveyed through this experience?
It's not so much a question that emotions are conveyed. It's more a question that whatever emotions you are feeling seem to be amplified. So I would leave it up to you. I wouldn't tell you what your character is feeling. I would leave it up to you to decide what your character is feeling, but be aware that whatever that is, it would be cranked up. Like, not to the point of being uncontrollable or, but certainly to the point of making you a little short of breath and a little stumbly, like when, if you wish to imagine, when someone gives you the most incredible compliment in front of other people, and then you feel that heat rushing through your body and your face, and you feel like your face is turning kind of, it's sort of like that, just this kind of very intense wave of whatever emotion you're feeling that kind of makes its way through you.
I think then that Mattis's response to this is probably to become extremely quiet. And you can tell that he is distracted because he has his notebook and charcoal pen out and isn't taking any notes or drawing anything.
How are the others feeling in this particular instance?
I'm not sure if you've ever seen a dog whose hackles are up, but it doesn't seem to understand why its hackles are up. This feeling is overwhelming and confusing in its own way. I'm pacing more. Whatever the movement is, if we're not able to move fast enough, it's doubling back, it's stepping in place, and just trying to feel comfortable in my own skin, adjusting to this.
And to help you along, Kato has just given you a hail, giving you an advantage.
Hey.
Okay, how is Wind feeling?
So Wind was feeling, it was feeling a bit of anxiety and dread about the entire lighthouse going out on their watch sort of thing. So that is a little bit ramped up, but they're also it's a little bit exciting to be here, be learning something new, be out doing something for a change. They've been so sedentary for a little while. So there's a little bit of flushed excitement. There may be, if people are talking and making jokes, they're laughing very gregariously and really partaking in the conversation, but also seem to be picking at that, or twirling their hair, picking at things, doing very anxious behaviors at the same time.
And Ginny?
How is oh god, what's his name? Tavane, how is he reacting?
He seems strangely, there's this kind of weird mix of emotion on his face. He appears both kind of trepidatious, but also kind of happy, as if having found something that he either had been looking for, didn't know he'd been looking for, but there, you know, like that face that you make when something pleasant, when you find something pleasant. So he's got that, but at the same time, there's like in his eyes, you can see a kind of, oh my god, like, what's this sort of gonna be? So you really get the feeling of, imagine someone who has been wanting to experience something for a long time, so much so that, like, you know, it drives them kind of crazy and they've been feeling really anxious, but now they're finally about to. And, you know, like, just before you step inside, you know, like that, oh my god, that last minute, like, oh, do I really want to do this? Do I really, you know, kind of feeling? That's kind of what's playing on Tavane's face at this moment.
Yeah, I think Ginny's probably mirroring a lot of that on the outside, like full body kind of. And I don't think that Odette's pacing is helping much. I think Ginny's kind of like, and like just going back and forth between Odette's like trepidation and Wint's like enthusiasm, and like, what am I supposed to be feeling in this moment? So I think she just kind of stays close to Tavane, and I keep wanting to say Tavon, but it's not. And kind of like alleviating any worry from him.
And as you're all experiencing these things, the emissary, Odette, comes up to you and puts a hand on your shoulder, and there's the very briefest touch of her thumb on the skin of your neck. And it radiates throughout your entire body, like almost making you vibrate. And she looks at you and she goes, it's called Tywilk in the old tongue. It means passion.
At the touch, it's for balance, reaching over and grabbing a hold of arm, almost being like knocked to knees as it shakes. Just, this is normal?
Very. When it's normal, and it is beautiful, is it not? Total awakening of the senses.
You live like this?
Yes, and if I'm to be honest, it pales in comparison to where we used to live. This place is merely a melody compared to the full-blown symphony that the world of Eidolon used to be.
Slowly nodding and looking and clocking how everyone seems to be responding, which seems to be an interesting mix. I don't understand how you get anything done.
Well, you're about to. Shall we?
As long as we're all ready. Try to shake off the feeling, and to no avail.
Keep moving forward. As you are approaching the front gates, I would ask everyone to make a charisma saving throw to resist shadow. You can use advantages on it if you want. You have to declare it up front.
I'm
definitely using it.
You have like a whole bunch of Varl's keeping track of it.
Damn.
Where's my character sheet?
I got a 17.
That's good.
Which is great because I have a +0.
A perception, you said?
No, charisma saving throw.
Oh, charisma saving.
I got a 15.
Is this the shadow?
Yes.
The shadow?
Yes.
I got 18.
Okay.
I got a 9.
Blind. And Alex?
Dropped a dice. I had a 15.
All right. So, Alex, Kay, and Miko, you take 1 shadow. Or you take 2.
Oh, fuck. I already have 2. Shit.
So, you have to keep track of shadow. Basically, once your shadow reaches half round up your wisdom score, not your bonus, but your actual wisdom score. You have to tell me if bad things happen. If it ever reaches the same level as your wisdom score, you're in really, really deep trouble.
I got 2 more until that happens, so.
Okay. The whispers are getting incredibly loud in your ear, Ginny. And that's what the shadows represent. Every time that shadows go up, like the whispers are getting more insistent, louder. You're getting less and less of a break from them.
I feel like Ginny would kind of, like, in the middle of y'all's kind of normal conversation, she just goes like, "What did you say?" to like nobody.
I am here.
Ginny's like, who's here?
And then there's silence. Then the whispers start again. Low and hard to decipher.
Do we all hear them? Or
Yeah, you all hear them.
Okay.
The lower your shadow, the less you hear them. The higher your shadow, the
Right.
more.
I think Mattis is going to approach Ginny and just say, "How loud are the voices?"
Loud enough that I thought it was one of you. But it's not you.
I believe that this is part of what has been affecting so many of us that have been on this island already. And you need to be careful, my dear.
Yes, I am beginning to understand.
If they continue to be as strong an influence upon you, we need to find a safe place to rest. That I might be able to help deal with some of it.
Right. Let's get to where we need to be, and then you and I will talk.
Aye. Speaking of such things, where do we need to be, emissary?
The emissary guides you through the front gates. You enter the city. Inside, you find it filled with masked Virulines, all adults. Strangely enough, there are no children at all to be seen anywhere. The Virulines gather in small groups, enjoying themselves. They are reading poetry. They are eating fresh food. They are drinking wine, water. They're engaging in passionate embrace. They're laughing. Some are crying. These deep, deep sobs that you can tell offer so much relief to them. As you move through the city, you get this sense among them, and they are deeply curious about all of you. Whenever you walk by, they stop and stare. However, the presence of the emissary and the knights stop them from doing anything, but they do stop and stare at you and wonder openly. Even though they're all wearing masks, you can almost tell that their mouth agape as a lot of you move through the city. But as you do so, you get a sense of hurried desire, as if they're trying to get as much done as they can before something happens. Thank you for the follow, Penber. The keep itself, as you approach it, is a marvel of architecture. It's an aesthetic paradise that ensnares all the senses and make your heart thump and your mind reel. The beauty of it, the sheer overwhelmingness of it. You can kind of, even though it's absolutely does not look like that, you can kind of imagine Versailles, that kind of overwrought, overwhelming kind of, there's just so much everywhere. of it, and all of it elegant and beautiful and pleasant. You can see braziers burning, and the smoke that emanates from them is the most beautiful scent you've ever captured with your nose. The light, the sounds that you hear, the music that seems to be emanating from everywhere and nowhere at once, the laughter of the people, the sounds of lovemaking, of joy that just sort of arise from everywhere. The hair on your skin is standing up, your skin is flushed, you're feeling this incredibly intense jolt of emotion everywhere you look. And as you enter into the keep, you find the main room where a throne sits currently empty, and behind this throne you see the most striking art of all, as the wall behind the throne depicts an androgynous figure, fluid, shapeless, ever-changing in form. Their features are neither distinctly masculine nor feminine, but a blend of both, reflecting the perfect union of duality. Their visage is a veritable mirror for any who gaze at them to see their own faces reflected. Their skin glimmers with an ethereal, iridescent sheen, shifting in color from opalescent white to deep violet and gold, depending on the angle of the light. They're shown chained, as if by desire, their body draped in shimmering fabrics that barely conceal their form. They are surrounded by supplicants who reach for them, their bodies twisted in what could be sheer agony or pure ecstasy. In one hand they hold a golden chalice filled with liquid that appears to ripple like liquid fire, representing both the intoxication of sensual pleasures and the knowledge gained through indulgence. On the other hand, they often hold a delicate, open, dark flower, symbolizing the unfolding of the senses and the blossoming of pleasure. Around their neck they wear a necklace of iridescent pearls that pulse with an almost hypnotic rhythm, as though they are breathing with their own life force. And as you stand there, gawping at this, taking it all in, smells, the sounds, the visuals, everything so overwhelming, you hear a voice come from somewhere off to the side in the wings of this room. Well, it's been quite a while since we've had guests. I trust you find everything to your liking.
I think that it's worth mentioning that the further along, the more time that Mattis spends here, the more uncomfortable he looks. And I think by the time that he reaches this point, he appears genuinely stressed. And looking upon this figure, he almost kind of recoils a bit and has shifted himself to be behind most of the others.
Who is the person speaking?
The emissary bows and says to you all, our voivod, Mikhail Dukail. And as you look, you see this figure, tall, almost 9 feet tall, massive, that same red metallic skin, the incredibly colorful clothes, the blue hair, long, dressed in the most fine manner with beautiful jewels threaded through the tresses, the horns massive, and as opposed to most of the horns you've seen so far, which have tended to curl back and be smaller, these are aimed forward. They glow with this intense reddish light from inside. His smile when he looks at you and offers it to you is mysterious, beguiling, warm, friendly, inviting. Not a little sultry, but definitely a little bit of that in there. And he approaches and stands there towering over everyone. Welcome. It is such a pleasure to be able to have you here, to share our wonders with you. Please, take a look around the room. Travel where you wish. Look at everything. Take it all in. Feel it in your bones and your skin. Admire the colors, admire the lines, admire the beauty of all of it too. Not drink in as much as you can. It is a terrible waste. You may never see again such a sight in your lives. Let this experience impregnate you. Let it seep into you. Let it fill you. Stay with you. Take it with you wherever you go, so that years from now, you can look back, see something, perhaps a shade of color, or catch a briefest glimpse of some smell on the wind, and be transported right here, experiencing all of this again for the first. Please. And should you have any questions about anything that you see here, do not hesitate to ask. You are honored guests here.
Is there treasure? That's not her asking. That's me asking. Does she see treasure?
There is definitely a lot of. There would be gems and things like that encrusted in some of the designs and some of the decorations and whatnot. There's definitely, but it's not like. It's as if they're almost an afterthought, like they wouldn't have put this gem there unless this gem was the most beautiful thing they'd ever seen, and so many of them got discarded, so there's not a whole slew of them. You get the feeling that the overall effect and impact of the thing is more important than each different part, so everything they've put in there is very, very, very meaningful and very carefully selected. I would like to say that the image that we saw earlier is from Solution Maps. He makes amazing little things like that.
Okay. I will just kind of peruse the curation of bibs and bobs and see if anything stands out to me.
You will notice here and there are guards in the back of the room, but they're kind of distant in the shadows, not being in your face kind of thing. The only people with you really are the Voivod and the emissary.
Okay. I'm not gonna try to sneak anything or steal anything. I'm just gonna kind of his little introduction was a little sus, so I'll probably kind of listen to his conversation some more in the background while I'm just looking around.
Not sus at all. What are you talking about?
I mean, I'm gonna let the room impregnate me for a bit while he talks.
Yeah, not a good enough reason to use the word impregnate. But,
what are the rest of you doing?
I think most of his speech doesn't really hit me, as particularly seeing Mattis take a behind role. I want to try to reach over. It's not quite grabbing your hand. It's kind of like grabbing your wrist gently and trying to make eye contact. Are you okay?
I'll be fine eventually.
This doesn't seem like you. Where's your book?
Oh, I have it, and I'm taking notes. I assure you.
Do you know something we don't?
I don't like this drunken wantonness.
I think we can agree on that. Stay close.
Hi.
What's Wint doing?
Yeah. Well, I think Wint up until this point has been kind of resistant or a little bit anxious, but I think they have forgotten some of their woes. I think they have found it too intoxicating to ignore, so I think they are now taking in the sights and taking very deep breaths of that scented air into their lungs, enjoying, really reveling in the moment. I don't know if the Voivod wanted me to direct my questions about things to them or to the emissary, but out loud at the I'll be gawking very openly at the weird breathing statue stuff, and I'll be like, what's going on here?
As you're doing that, you'll feel someone come up next to you, and when you look, you see the Voivod, but he seems to have shrunken. He's down to like about 6 feet tall now as he's standing next to you. Hey, Cozy, thank you so much for coming in with the raid. Cozy Bean with the raid. It's a cozy raid. I like cozy raids. All about the cozy. How you doing, Bean? You're doing good. Hope you had a good stream tonight. We are playing Dark Ysterra, and the players are experiencing weirdness because, why not? So the Voivod will come and stand next to you as you gaze up at this statue, this sculpture, this almost living sculpture, really, that you see. And he'll say, Saskire is their name. And we also call them the Boundless Euphoria.
They seem pretty bound.
Those are the chains of passion. Passion does, to a certain extent, enslave us. Passion makes us focus everything that we have, our entire being towards a very specific point, a very specific satisfaction. When the passion is strong enough, it will make us eschew all other concerns and pursue it almost exclusively. And as he says this, you catch that he gives a little glimpse over to GINNY. But it's said that Saskira's presence can heighten any experience. From the taste of a sweet fruit to the sensation of silk against the skin, or the sound of a lover's whisper. Her influence is known to bring forward the hidden passions of the heart, awakening dormant desires and providing clarity through indulgence. In this, she is one who gives us clarity of vision, allows us to focus on what is important to us, and not the other chains that the world might wish to impose upon us, the demands, the responsibilities. Blesses us with the ability to feel and experience life in its most vivid, vibrant form, pushing the boundaries of what is known and accepted as pleasure. Divine stimulation, really. I believe we can reach a transcendent state, where the self dissolves and the individual becomes one with the universe.
I'm a bit confused. But is this something? What is your passion for your people? Like, are you bringing your passion to other less fortunate folks, or is it about
my passion is my people? My role as Voivod is to ensure that they have every opportunity to follow their passions, to commune with Saskire, to discover themselves. I handle all day-to-day mortal concerns. so that they may be free to pursue their passion, unfettered by the demands of the world about them.
Why are we here? Did you invite all of us officially? Like, above the emissary, it's you, and you are the one that...
I did ask Sorsha to go and gather you, yes. I was curious, I must admit, and... well, if truth be told, I have a little bit of a situation. I was wondering if perhaps the coincidence of your group arriving might help me understand better the particulars of the situation. As he's speaking, Miko, you've noticed something else. There's another piece of art that has grabbed your attention as you're trying to kind of shy away from all this that's kind of going on at the front. You've noticed this painting that's displayed in a very simple frame, and it's kind of hidden. It's away in the corners and the shadows. You catch a glimpse of it, and it draws your attention immediately. And as you approach it, you see that it is a beautifully rendered night sky filled with indigos and purples and blacks and dark blues and a myriad of stars. Most arrestingly is, at the center, 3 orbs, aligned perfectly one over the other. And emerging from the bottom of this painting is this black, void-like sphere that is moving and looking as if it is about to devour the other 3 orbs that have aligned. Seeing it gives you a chill and reminds you of that dream that you had the other night of seeing a giant maw rend the sky.
I think seeing that will kind of focus Mattis a bit, and he will clear his throat. I'm curious about this piece of art you have over here. It seems almost prophetic in a way.
Prophetic, you say?
Why? Does it depict something that's happened in the past, perhaps?
That, my friend, is a painting of something we call the Dreamless Moon. It is one dark entity that devours emotions. The world we come from, on Eidolon, it was worshipped by cultists. This cult was exterminated, thankfully, back home before any of this occurred, but we keep this painting as a reminder of what happens when all passion, all emotion is lost. It was a Virline. Well, perhaps before I speak of this, I should ask, you have noticed, of course, that there are no children anywhere. There has not been a single child born to us in a generation. It seems we have lost the ability to procreate.
Certainly not the ability, just the results, yes. From what we've seen.
Oh, we can engage in all manners of sensual acts, but there are no longer any women getting pregnant. I'm not sure if you can understand what that does to the psyche of a people, to know that the end is so nigh that within a few short decades, your entire people will be gone. That there is, in fact, no future and no hope.
I guess you don't know very much about the elvenkind on this world, then, do you?
I must say that my interactions with the creatures of this world has been very limited.
The elves faced a great distinction in history, where our kind has been on the verge of let's just say we don't have a great deal of hope for the future and haven't had it for many centuries.
And yet you don't find yourself moved to enjoy what time remains. Perhaps.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
You speak of centuries. Are you so long-lived?
Our people are, yes.
We are not.
Well, that just gives us more time to factor in the horrific loss that we've endured.
You have my sympathies.
I'll make sure to pass that along at the next meeting of pointy-eared elven folk. I'm curious about something else. This passion that you have, has it been constant since your arrival? Or has it waxed and waned as time has fluctuated so much for you?
My passion has never diminished, no.
You say diminished, but has it increased?
The passion, no. The hunger for it, perhaps. Upon realizing that there would be no future generation, I think we quickly came to the realization that time being so short, we had to redouble our efforts to enjoy what time we did have. I don't think we necessarily have more passion. We simply devour more, I guess.
Fine.
You know what happened to Sorrow? They talked about, being in a haze for a while and only recently kind of coming out of it to themselves.
Have the people of Sorrow told you of our history together, or their people and ours?
A bit. They definitely hold a deferential role in your history, and from what I've gathered, both mostly kept away from each other.
On Eidolon, our people conquered theirs. We came from somewhere else. As our world was dying, we found a new place, and it was theirs, and my ancestors conquered the place and enslaved them. And for a long while, we survived off of them. Hey, Little Bones, thank you so much for the raid. Greatly appreciated as always. How you doing, Little Bones? The littlest bones on the interwebs. In time, we discovered a way of surviving without needing to afflict others, and with subsequent generations found less and less of a need to be cruel taskmasters and allowed the Umbrians to become emancipated. They had always been a very vibrant people. When a cataclysm occurred and we were drawn here, they changed. They became pale copies of what they used to be. Listless and directionless and without much joy. I hear that even their ancestors would not talk to them anymore. I'm glad to hear reports that they seem to have recovered some of their joie de vivre.
So, I'm sorry. Are we trying to resolve the baby problem?
No, I don't believe anyone can resolve the baby problem, but the baby problem has led us to enforce a rule that already existed, but that became even more sacrosanct in the wake of this discovery. That is that the greatest sin that can be committed by a Virline is taking the life of another Virline. Even on Eidolon, this was the greatest sin that could be committed, and it was basically unknown for Virlines to kill other Virlines. Except that this cult, who worship the Dreamless Moon, part of their practices was the sacrifice and murder of their brethren. There was a few that were very successful at it. We managed to stamp them out. The cult was eradicated on Eidolon. Things were fine for some time. We came here and things were fine for some time too, but recently, a few of our people were murdered, most savagely.
Ginny looks at Tavain at that.
Tavain is trying to make himself really small and kind of keep a neutral face on. Not, draw attention to himself.
Yeah. And what kind of massacre?
Well, we were very lucky. After the third murder, we managed to capture the assassin.
Thank goodness.
Indeed. Emissary, if you would, as Voivod, and the emissary goes to a knight and whispers something, and a few moments later you hear people coming down a corridor and you hear chains. And you see, coming into the room escorted by two knights, a couple of people. First, you see another Virline. This one, a tall female with a red glass mask, carrying this long bladed spear. She has a chain in her hand, and it goes to a collar that is around the figure that follows her. This figure is, as far as you can tell, a human female, but she is wearing a mask that has been strapped around her head. We value life so much that we would not take the life of a murderer. And so we punish them in the best way that we know. Total sensory deprivation. For as long as they remain alive. This one is one of his, and he points at Tavain.
What does that mean?
She came from the tower in the southwest where this one and his brethren have been working. She was one of theirs, wearing the same robes he wears now.
No. That's not true.
Vane says, "Is that Ravani?" That is the name that she gave us.
You know this one?
Yes, she's one of the followers, one of my colleagues. She went missing about a week ago. She slipped here in the night and murdered 3 of ours before we could stop her.
That doesn't sound like...
We caught her literally red-handed, weapon in hand, the blood of our brethren on her, and at first she did not deny it and even seemed to take a sadistic pleasure in having accomplished this. After a night in the sensory deprivation mask. I could not recall having done this, or why she would have wanted to do it.
We had a similar situation where my love was almost murdered by one of our own. Could this not have been the same thing?
That is what I would like you to find out.
Have you tried asking?
We have, unfortunately, what this Ravani can tell us now is no longer very useful.
In what way?
He talks of whispers, voices guiding her, telling her what to do. They got so overwhelming that she lost herself. She came to in this sensory deprivation mask. Every time we remove it, the whispers begin again and she becomes less than cooperative. She babbles incoherently. It only calms down when we place the mask back on.
I'm gonna shoot a look to Mattis about the whispers, but I'm not gonna say anything.
I think Mattis is just standing there looking back and forth between the various speakers, trying to suss out what small lies are being told, what slight exaggerations there might have been.
You can go right ahead if you want and give me some sort of roll.
What kind of roll would you like?
A jelly roll?
That I cannot provide.
Insight.
Okay.
Insight away.
Use an advantage.
Kill away, Mr. McManus.
That's a 19 on the die, plus 5 is 24.
You really don't get a sense that anyone has lied about anything. Everyone seems to be telling the truth as they know it, at least. The events that have occurred, the history of the Virline that the Voivod has spoken.
Is there anyone other than the Voivod that is perhaps harboring any kind of sentiment towards this Ravani that
I think
might not represent what the Voivod has said?
No, not really. I think that certainly the emissary would have a lot of resentment towards Ravani, but it's clearly being held in check. The Voivod seems to be a lot more in control of their emotion, and the executioner, or the guard that came with her, seems completely impassive, but is also wearing a full face mask and is difficult to read.
Yeah.
I'm going to show her again just to make Erin unbothered.
I have many questions, but likely none useful, except perhaps that you're willing to release this one into our custody to try and ascertain what's going on, I assume.
I don't believe I'm ready to release her into your custody, but if you want to speak to her, you can certainly attempt to do so. It is getting quite late, however. I would suggest that we take some rest for the night. I'm certain you and yours need to discuss matters. I will make the prisoner available to you in the morning. Do you wish still to discuss with them? After a night spent in the sensory deprivation mask, they become a little more docile and talkative for a little while.
All right. I don't suppose that you have a chamber with which one might be able to find rest without the influence of the rest of the city. Not quite perhaps full sensory deprivation, but something that's at least somewhat isolated.
I believe we can make this work for you. Would all of you like to be housed in the same wing? There is a place that is a little less intense.
Is there an extra mask available? Just
Absolutely, if you would like one.
curious.
Very happy to provide one for you.
I just, for no reason, just curious.
He motions, and at some point someone comes back and they have one of these masks and they hand it to you. And you can see that it's a mask that literally like blocks out the eyes, blocks out the nose, the mouth, wraps completely around the head. You're wondering how people breathe, but I guess you're gonna find out.
I think she just sort of leans into the others and says, "For science, yes?"
Odd science.
For something.
Emissary, if you would. Yes, please. The guard, the Dominie, turns back and takes Ravani with her. And the emissary turns to you. You'll follow me. I'll take you to a place where you may find some rest.
I immediately follow.
I think Mattis attempts some kind of show of respect to the Voivod. Perhaps not a full like bow or submission or anything, but in what he appears to be somewhat compromised, and I think that there's just effort there without it being perhaps well executed.
Is it finger guns?
He'll bow his head to you and go, I hope you find some rest.
Finger guns might be too emotional for him at this point.
Yeah.
Hey Lummox, thanks for coming in. As you will be guided by the emissary over to your rooms, let's go ahead and take our break here. And when we come back, I'll give you an opportunity to all kind of gather together and discuss what you want to do, and then we'll take it from there. My friends, we have returned. You have all been sent on your way to a quiet part of the keep, and when you get there, you do feel it's a bit less intense, but it's kind of like, imagine you go see Iron Maiden live, you know, at the Forum, and you're staying in front of the stage, and then you go in the bathroom somewhere and the band's still playing. Like, it's that kind of, it's still there, but it's like muffled. You will be brought to like a series of little apartments, and there is like, you all have separate rooms, but there is like kind of a little communal area with some benches and plants and a little bit of art and stuff like that you could grab a seat and chill out if you wanted. The emissary says that she will send food and drink over for you, and that in the morning someone will come by and bring you hot waters for your baths and whatever else you need, bath bombs, etc., etc. But she bids you a good night. Yes.
Is there judgment coming from folks as they see us going to the sensory deprivation rooms?
No,
Like-
there's almost no one in the castle. The keep is pretty empty.
Okay.
The only people around are the people you've met in some nights. But you do get to sit together now and enjoy a little bit of peace and quiet, some food and drink, and discuss if you want. You can also just, go to bed if you want.
I'm
I think
gonna try it.
Mattis.
Nope. Go.
I think Mattis will find. I'm imagining this is quite difficult, so invariably we'll end up sitting on the floor, leaned up against a wall. But we'll find whatever looks to be the most uncomfortable chair that he can, or at least find an extremely awkward way of sitting in said chair to make himself feel uncomfortable.
Matt is
And-
the masochist.
Start like breathing deep breaths in and out with his eyes closed.
So is everyone handling this as well as Mattis over there?
I put the mask on.
Oh, fuck.
When you slip it on, the first thing you notice is that you're able to breathe, even though it's on your face, but there is zero quality to the air as far as scent goes. It's completely sterile. The sensory deprivation is so complete that not only does it prevent you from seeing, hearing, smelling, but you no longer feel your body, clothes on your body, the position in which you're sitting. You are literally floating in a lukewarm, dark space. You hear nothing, you feel nothing. Give me a charisma saving throw.
That's what I thought. Please roll good.
Use one of your 10 advantages.
Okay, I got a 15, but I'll roll it. No, I got a 6 on that, so I'll keep the 15. 15 plus 2, 17.
So I'm going to say something really weird. I've said this before to people. I've said it to some of my students sometimes. And I always get really weird looks, but I also always get a bunch of people who look at me like, yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever lied there maybe in bed at night and just tried to imagine what it would feel like if you didn't feel anything?
Yeah,
You didn't
fuck
exist,
yeah.
and then you get that deep-seated terror that grabs your chest, right? I don't know if you do
Yeah.
what I get. Like, I get this existential terror. All of a sudden, I stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
what you
it's like
get
right
from that.
before you fall asleep, and it's like you feel that falling,
Yeah.
like nothingness. Yeah.
And that's what you feel right now, except it doesn't stop. It keeps going and going and going.
I dropped
and
the
going.
mask.
It is not. It does not make. It's not restful at all.
Okay. Yeah. So I had the
You
mask.
Try to remove the mask.
Uh,
You can't feel anything. You're not even sure if your hands are moving. The rest of you see her start flailing and hitting herself around the head and like going crazy and like dropping on the floor and just like panicking like someone who can't breathe.
Gotta go ahead and step in there and like straddle over the top, reach down, try to grab the shoulder, and just pop it right off if I can.
The influx of sensory information that assaults you, Erin, is not just, oh, all of a sudden you can feel.
yeah.
All the sensations that have occurred to you between the time you put on the mask and now have all been sitting there waiting for you, and they all come at you at the same time.
Yeah.
There is this sensory overload that goes through your entire body, and Odette, you see her shut down, go catatonic, and just go limp.
Gonna give your cheek a little pat before looking over my shoulder. Vin, it seems this is more your wheelhouse.
Devane comes by and like is like sort of darling, and he's like trying to. You come too slowly, Ginny. The lingering after effect of all of that in your body is just messing you up. Oh, you're right, darling. Are you okay? Talk to me.
No. I could hear everything now again, and it's louder than before.
I'm sorry.
It hurts.
I'm sorry, darling.
Shut up. I'm sorry. No, don't shut up. But shut up.
Come back to us.
Shh.
It's okay. It's okay. It's been removed. Happened.
Don't wear that. It gets rid of everything, including the whispers, but everything. Don't wear it. Don't wear it.
And he just cradles you and holds you and very, very gingerly and, trying not to overwhelm you.
I think Ginny feels very small in that moment. Like, this is like forced a little space. Like, she gets very, very sophomoric.
He just holds you and just there.
I think I give the mask a little kick for good measure.
Mathis, what do you make of all this?
Mattis startles himself at the hearing of his name. I genuinely don't know. All this. We're not meant for this. This is not for our kind. And the fact that none of them seem to recognize that fact.
Well, they've never had to.
Is telling.
They've never had to. They've never had to deal with anyone but their own kind. We've had very limited contact with them.
Right. And that's telling.
Delvorminath hid this island for a reason.
Exactly. This is our work.
What do you mean that Delvorminath hid this island for a reason?
The work we're doing here. I didn't know until tonight, until we saw that painting, but the work we're doing here is tied to this dreamless moon. I didn't know it until I saw this tonight. The conjunction of the moons that is occurring right now in Ysterra is
the same as the painting.
And it's something that has not occurred since the Illuvans. We have the inner circle of Delvorminath's disciples. We've been waiting for 1,000 years for it to happen, for them to converge again. When they do, when the three moons align, they reveal for the briefest of moments a fourth moon, a hidden moon. It's called Sanctus. It's more than a moon. It's some sort of slumbering celestial being. It holds some sort of secret that Delvorminath needs to prepare for the eventuality, as he calls it. The last time he attempted to get it was around the time of the Illuvans. And he failed. He's been waiting 1,000 years for it to occur again. With this dark sphere that is moving in front of it, may prevent the revelation from happening for another 1,000 years if we can't see the moons.
The last time that something like this happened, the world was reshaped for eternity. And my people suffered so horribly that we were almost vanquished from the world.
And I think Delvorminath believes that what will occur if he does not get this secret from Sanctus is worse than that.
Right. My only theory at this point then is that these shadows, these whispers, they're somehow connected to whatever entity their cult may have been worshipping or affected by.
But if that's so, the emergence of these whispers correlating with the emergence of the renewed energy in the Umbrians, they may know where that comes from.
Perhaps. But then why was it one of us and not an Umbrian that's succumbed to the shadow enough to slay 3 of their kind? Wouldn't the Umbrians seemingly be easier for that?
Unless whatever is causing the whispers is on the side of the Umbrians, likes the Umbrians, if it's is
Or doesn't like us.
the Voivod talked of having to sustain themselves off the Umbrians until they were able to sustain themselves off of something else. But that eventually destroyed the world and created this situation that brought them here. What if what they were feeding off of was this thing?
The whispers? They were feeding off the whispers?
Or the thing creating the whispers?
I can buy that. There's a kind of dystopian logic to it. I just don't know how much longer we're going to be able to resist the whispers ourselves. And I think Mattis looks directly at Ginny.
Well, can we find the thing that's causing it?
The observatory that Delvorminath had us build that we were using is not really an observatory. It's meant as a means of communication between worlds.
Right. You believe maybe it's coming from a different world?
It may be coming through there. Perhaps we tapped into something.
I think Delvorminath wanted that constructed to communicate with this Sanctus. And how do you know that name anyway?
Delvorminath.
They came to you and told you that.
Delvorminath has been here, yes. He was here before we got here. I do not ever attempt to understand Delvorminath's ways. He
That's a sure way to get to madness. I've seen it happen more than once.
I think we need to go to the observatory. That's where it all began. The whispers, people going mad. Can't believe it. Ravani. He was the kindest, gentlest soul.
Kindness and gentleness have nothing to do with madness. If anything, those things often make us more susceptible to it.
Before you arrived, one of my brethren attacked me. It was GINNY who saved me from his assault. Whatever is occurring there is pushing our people to madness and murder.
How badly have you been affected by these whispers?
I've heard them. Thanks to my love, I've been able to resist them so far. They affect me, but they've not rendered me bloodthirsty. There are some of my brethren that are not affected as much. It seems to affect everyone in a slightly different manner.
Did you find any solace when I read from my tome?
I did. There was a few hours of
Respite.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he mentioned that we all can contribute something towards resolving this, and I would think it would be our devotion to curiosity and Delvorminath himself. But I'm wondering, Odette and Wint, what your shtick is, so to speak. Like, Wint, just spitballing here, you were a lighthouse keeper, and these whispers are made of shadow and darkness. Perhaps the intimate understanding of light through the darkness would be your strength?
That would be really cool. I was a messenger. That's all I can think of. But if we come up against something light related, maybe I can.
I thought you were a florist.
It was florist, and it was the teleflora, and then it sometimes was just being a messenger. Sometimes it was for, an advancing army. I'd be the first person to be like, hey, what's up? But I don't know.
And what about you, Odette?
Think of me as someone who is Delvorminath's blade. I've never fought a mood before, but we'll see by the end of all of this. Often, curiosity comes with some dangers. I'm here often to keep those seeking safe.
So, the observatory would be our next destination.
I would like to see the current state of my brethren, and I think everything originated from there in a sense. That we might find more answers there.
Is there anything we want to ask the people of Twi'lek for?
Say that again.
I forgot what the place is called. Is there anything we want to ask the people of Passion for before we leave? Because Tywolk, yes. They might be able to help us have the emissary show us if there's a quick way that they know of, because they've definitely seen the observatory. Maybe they have a direct way there. I don't know.
We can ask in the morning. I'm sure they'll help. They seem to be determined to get to the bottom of this and protect their people. I would assume that, knowing they have so little time left and there are so few of them left, they would want to preserve as many of the lives as they can. It's been a long day. I'll retire to get some rest. You continue to discuss if you want, but I think I've had enough for one day.
Oh, no, you're not going anywhere without me. I'll go with you.
Very good. See you all in the morning then. As they head off to bed, what will the rest of you do?
I just want these crystals. What's going on here? And this place really seems to not be sitting well with either of you. Is this a Delvorminath thing, or...
No, this is just a personal problem, that's all.
You too, Odette?
I don't find myself often overwhelmed with such feelings. Do you?
I mean, sometimes. Sometimes you get into the wine that you're delivering with some flowers, and other times, indulge every once in a while in something. What do you indulge in?
Maybe like a little look to Mattis and just going to dodge the question. What do you make of this place? So far, I have seen GINNY endure the mask, Mattis over here practicing breathing. But I haven't seen much from you. How are you feeling?
I'm conflicted. Seems too good to be true, but this place is otherworldly. So, is this possible in another land? But at the same time, the moon not feeling things, and then they have just so happened to have this mask that seems to replicate that. I think they're maybe more in control of this situation than... But, they're very nice, very hospitable.
I value your opinion, Vent. I think it's worth listening to.
I am glad you're here as well. But I think I need to try to find some rest. So, hopefully, I'll see you in the morning.
Best of luck. And before I depart, I'm going to try to find that mask that GINNY kicked and just tuck it under my arm so no one else tries to play around with that, taking the toy away. Going to put on a very high shelf and nod head to Went as well. Should you need anything, knock.
So y'all turn in. GINNY, do you have anything you want to discuss with Tavain before he falls asleep, or?
I think I would already know this. I'll ask you. Is there going to be a problem bringing outsiders to the observatory that aren't practicing?
There would have been
their work?
normally, but at this point, like
Yeah.
the followers of Delvorminath in the past past month or so have either been homicidal maniacs or really just uncaring, unconcerned, totally detached. So you
Yes, the two genders. I
Yes.
love it. Okay, cool. So then I think she would just take care of him, make sure he's good, and then go to sleep myself.
Excellent. As you all go to sleep, a few things are going to happen, and we'll go through them now. Odette, you, in your sleep, have a very, and I was going to say very torrid dream, but it's not necessarily sexual. Whatever, I don't want to tell you whether your character finds the emissary attractive or not, or whether your character is even gay or whatever. You decide all that. But you will have a dream that will involve the emissary, that will be deeply passionate on some level. And again, I will let you decide the very nature of that, whether it's sexual in nature, whether it's even just romantic or platonic, whatever it is, but there will be some sort of very intense, passionate sort of dream about her. You will at some point awaken in the middle of this dream very suddenly. You will feel any and all things that your dream has been kind of making you feel. But on top of that, you will feel very, very, very drained. You will think, though not be sure, that you see her leaving your room, padding out of it, silently. And you have lost about half your hit point.
Can I describe the dream?
Yes, that was going to be my next question.
Nice. Oh, same brain. So I think in the language that Odette knows, the dream starts off as if it was sparring practice with the emissary, and with some kind of practice weapons. And then as the sparring continued, the competitive nature of it building up to the point that weapons are dropped and it becomes bare fist, wrestling, throwing around, sweat. And just at the point that that tension builds to something potentially sexual, that's when Odette wakes up.
And so when you wake up, you would feel the flush of sexual excitement, like almost as if you just had like a great bout of, or like had been in that dream, but you will feel completely drained in that, totally like just out of it, like don't call me, don't talk to me, don't do anything, but
I need a cigarette. Yeah,
exactly. I need a whole pack. And this will be represented by the fact that you will lose half your hit point. And thank you, darling. We are trying our best. You're drenched in sweat. You're lying in bed. The bed sheets are wrapped around your legs and kind of everywhere. The bed is very warm. You do not get the sense that you have been touched physically. I do want to make that clear, that it's not something like that. But you do, as I said, kind of get the sense that she's leaving the room, and you do feel that being drained. GINNY,
Mm-hmm.
you have a dream of being in the sensory deprivation.
Of course I do.
You feel everything that you felt in or rather didn't feel. So much that all of a sudden you get that sudden like kind of a falling feeling, and you wake up and you realize you haven't been breathing.
Oof.
And as you gulp air and try to come back, you realize you're alone in the room.
is I'm going to pinch myself, making sure I'm not in another drink. Oh, okay. I will get up and look for Tavin.
Tavane, he's not there.
Tavane. I will get my boyfriend's name right.
Think of in vain.
Yeah.
In
Okay,
vain,
cool. I will
Tavane.
never forget that. And I'll open the door like a crack and see if he's out in the hall or something.
The hall is dark, quiet. You see something move at the other end. It kind of looks like the emissary, maybe, but at this point, your mind could be playing tricks on you. There's a resounding lack of response. There is also a resounding lack of voices in you.
I don't trust this at all. I'm going to pinch myself again.
Ow.
I'm going to go to the next, whoever's next to
Let's
me.
see whoever is next to you. Next to you is Miko.
I will
Mattis.
I will not even knock. I'm a little bit flustered. I'm just going to crack
Is the door
the door
locked?
open.
Does Mattis see
Yeah,
the door
it's-
lock? I get the feeling he does, but no.
No.
How does Mattis sleep? Because I have a feeling it's going to be interesting.
In this particular case, you would find Mattis has kept his clothes on and has used the leather straps of his satchel, the bindings of his pouch, whatever other things that he can, to have wrenched his arms and legs into the most awkward positions that he possibly can tie them. Not so much that he couldn't reach the bindings because he had to tie them himself, but such that it would be near impossible to find a comfortable physical position to lay in.
Somehow this
But he is asleep.
feels more like a dream. Okay, I'm gonna go up to Mattis and poke you, like kind of like in the shoulder.
His eyes will just slowly open, coming out of his reverie. He just tilts his head towards you.
Is this real?
Yeah.
Okay. Does this hurt? I'm gonna pinch your arm.
I felt it.
Did I feel pinching his arm?
You did. I'm also hearing like music or something in the...
Oh, hold on.
Ah, there we go. I thought I was hearing the whispers. I was going to gain some shadow.
No, it's from upstairs. My apartment is cheap.
Oh, it's all right. Your mic's good.
Okay.
Yeah, you do feel pinching him.
Okay. I'm so sorry to bother you. Have a good rest, and I'm gonna go out.
Wait.
What?
Wrong? What's going on? You would not wake me for nothing.
Do you still hear the whispers?
Do I?
You do not.
No, I don't.
Me neither.
That's interesting.
Also, Tavane is missing.
Can you help me get him tied then? It'll go faster.
I can't make any promises as I look at the rope.
It's not that difficult. They're easy slip knots. And he just
Okay.
starts undoing a couple of them himself.
You undo the shibari, and
I knew it.
Not quite that comprehensive.
you quickly manage to unwrap Mattis, and you grab your stuff or whatever you want to bring with you. What do you do next?
How long has he been gone? Do you know?
He just wasn't awake or he wasn't in bed when I woke up. and I look out the hallway and I thought I saw something, but it's very quiet.
That's actually a good thing. Let's go. And I think without really caring about being quiet himself, he will do a once-over around the room just to make sure nothing is out of place before leading GINNY out of the room and going in search of Tavane.
You walk onto the corridor. Corridor is quiet. Where would you like to go?
Should we wake up the others, or...
Not yet. This could merely be something as simple as he needed to relieve himself, but let's make sure first.
I'll start walking towards where the facilities are, and the whole time I'm just like, I would be so embarrassed if that's all it was.
So you're not being stealthy or anything like that?
No, probably just quiet.
Odette, can you roll a perception check, please?
Perception is a skill that I can roll. Looking for my number. There it is. Can I use an advantage?
You have to use it before you roll.
Okay, then never mind. I got an 8.
You're panting. You're panting. You don't hear anything.
Yeah, I'm busy.
Yeah, you are.
You start walking down. Madam Ava. Oh, Madam Ava, it's so nice. Oh, it's like, well, thank you for coming by. You start walking down the corridor. Basically, you walk down for a little bit, and then you come into this kind of open area that's got a door. And when you get into the other side of that door, you know you're going to be outside of the sort of quiet area, if you will. You approach the door. I'm guessing you open it. You open it. You hear very, very distantly some sounds like maybe people talking or moving, but there's sounds echoing from down the corridor, coming from the direction of the room where you were with the voivod earlier. So you kind of got two corridors. There's one that leads off to your right, and then there are stairs that go up. There's kind of circular stairwell that goes up, and then there's the corridor that leads down towards the throne room where you were earlier.
If the direction towards the throne room is where we hear the voices, or people talking rather, then I think Mattis will just start walking that direction. But I assume at this point, once that door is open, we start feeling the taken to 11 things that we had been feeling. Oh yeah,
you feel sorry. I thought you were going to ask me if you heard the whispers. You still don't hear the whispers at all, but you do feel the heightened emotion and all that. Yeah, that does come back.
Okay, then I think Mattis will... I imagine that the dagger that he has is a bit ornate, as he tends to use it in things regarding ritual. And the pommel of it, I feel like, has a sharpened end, not so much as to, like, be lethal, but enough that he actually grinds his palm into it to cause himself pain. As we're walking down the hall. You
walk down the hall, then you get to that kind of that circular part that was the top of the throne room, and you know that as you come around, you're going to get to that side entrance. That's the wing where, where the voivod had come in from. And as you approach, you hear a voice that's distant. And the strange thing is that you hear this voice is really there. There's someone in the throne room talking, but it sounds kind of like the whispers you'd been hearing, except they're not in your ear now. They're really coming from a physical person in the room. And as you're approaching, it's kind of indistinct at first. And then as you approach and get closer... So
just to clarify, they are in the ear, not in the mind.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
And as you approach towards the throne room, you hear, "I'm awake now, and you devoured me, and now I will do the same to you." Then you start hearing wet sounds.
Was that Tavane's voice we heard?
I was the voice of the whispers that you'd been hearing all along.
See.
Oh,
I think-
God.
I'm fairly certain Mattis would recognize the sounds that came after the whisper.
Well, yeah, I mean, mastication sounds are mastication sounds.
He will quickly move forward.
You move forward. Ginny, what do you do?
I think if we're doing heightened emotion, at the first glimmer of fear in her, she is going to grab onto Mattis's hand and like squeeze it, like, don't you dare leave me, kind of, or like, I will come with you. We're not letting go.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go
I'll
forward
follow.
with him?
Yeah.
All right. I have dropped in our Dark Ysterra chat the link to the Owlbear Rodeo. And I'm very sorry for Kay and Alex. Very sorry you're going to sit there and do not much for a little while.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, what?
Roll a die and call high or low. Tell me what the number is.
Hi. Hold on. Give me that. Got it. Oh, wait, no. How do you roll the die in this thing?
In what thing?
Owlbear.
The dice box at the top. Just
it's
click a
not one.
die and then click the roll button that appears in the middle.
Doesn't appear in the middle. I'm going to roll over here. And I rolled a 8.
Okay. I think then that as you clutch his hand, you will feel the moisture of some of his blood upon your hand.
Okay. She does not let go, but she definitely is like, she's like,
maybe observes it as sweat at first, but at some point will notice that it is blood.
I would think, as somebody who sweats profusely, it is the slimy viscous of blood. I would be able to tell Jenny, but I will like only hold tighter. Like you feel like a squelch in the hand. Sorry, not sorry for that description.
A squelch is a squelch, of course. I just have to make a quick Ginny token because since Aaron missed the first game, I hadn't bothered making one right away. Of course, now back in.
Oh no.
So it will only take a second. I apologize profusely.
I fucking figured out the thing. I was clicking the top D20, which was just changing the color of the dice, and I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't let me roll.
Oops.
Yeah, sorry about that. A little contretemps.
No worries.
Now's the perfect chance to order insomnia cookies.
Indeed. Indeed. All right, we have a Ginny and So you'll be coming in through this side here, and I will put the map on the screen here. And
Thank you. There we are.
Just out of curiosity, those aren't pools of blood to the right and left of the central chamber, are they?
no, so just some strange.
Just making sure.
Fantasy LED lights.
Yeah, exactly.
Ambiance.
Mm-hmm.
Ambiance, that's it.
Can you imagine a villain putting up those like LED hex tiles up to make sure that the his backdrop is aesthetically pleasing?
I saw some recently that now they actually have them look like wood grain and still illuminate, LED, and those actually are somewhat appealing to me, but the other ones, no. I don't live in a rave house. So.
I clearly I do.
why wouldn't you want to live in it? There you go. That's the real question.
I have a bedazzled smiley face pillow, disco ball, an eyeball.
All right. Sorry for that dumbasness. I just have brain these days. You walk into the room.
Mm-hmm.
And as you do, you find it dark, illuminated only by the red light that's emanating from these pools and from the fires that are around the room. And you see at the center of the room, Tavain, who's got the body of a Virline. And there is blood all over. You can see that he's got a dagger lying next to him. And as you walk in, he has just been taking a nice big bite out of her. And as he looks up, you can see blood coming down his chin and all over his front. And his face is distorted and strange, and it looks just kind of off.
I will let go of your hand, and I'm gonna full ass run as far as I can get.
And as she's running, Miko, you are going to notice that around the room, sort of near you and near her, materializing out of nowhere, in a very sort of wispy way, almost like spirits, you see a number of individuals that look like this, and it really looks as if they're being formed out of the mists that's in the night and the light. And as they take on actual physical form,
should we have waken up the others?
these four guardians appear in these sort of moonlit little beams, and they form. You see their masks are very similar to the sensory deprivation masks. They're built, they look exactly the same.
All right.
Roll initiative. Wint, you're having again some excellent sleep. No stress for you there. Just, enjoying your night's rest. Odette, you
Feeling
are
like a villain.
Odette, you are having difficulty going back to sleep. The dream stays with you. Your body's tingling entirely from it, but you also have that complete weakness from sort of being drained. You're sitting up in bed and kind of, trying to gather your senses again. What would you do?
Goodness, I'm not sure there's much that she would do. I don't think she's necessarily the kind to get up and go for a walk. It's just trying to like grip onto the sheets and fathom whatever that was.
And as you sit there trying to fathom what happened, the dream still lingering, that moment that was stolen from you by waking up, of just that moment before something happened, and you catch the hint of the emissary's perfume lingering in the room, almost like a trail, a breadcrumb trail, beckoning you to follow it if you want.
Yeah, if anything, she was in the room. Seems like she was in the room. I didn't sign up for that. We, at the very least, have questions if she's nearby. So, get up in my magic pajama set, bunny slippers. Maybe not that bad, but like I imagined her at least being a little cozy when she went to bed and starting to walk down the hall to see.
You step out of the hall, and there is that hallway that goes back towards the way you came originally, where the throne room is and all that, but the perfume leads you in the other direction.
Were our rooms close enough to see that, like, Mattis's room door is open, Ginny's
I don't
room
know if their door is
open?
I'm not 100% sure that Mattis would have left his door open. But let's see. I am going to roll D percentile. And I will... This is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a 30% chance that is one of the doors is open.
Sure.
For every advantage that you guys spend, I will add 5% to that chance.
I mean,
And is that anybody?
That's anybody.
I'll give 4.
We're up to 50%.
I will also give 4.
Up to 70%. That's it?
I'm holding on to mine.
That's fair.
I got to figure out which...
I'll give 2. I actually have 5 right now, so I'll be down to 3, I think.
All right, so 80%. All right, so the green.
Oh, yeah.
The green is the first die.
Shut up.
Varl
Shut
had
up.
you at 6, by the way. Okay.
I don't think they updated me earlier.
Okay,
They can
So-
correct me if I'm wrong.
so I rolled 87.
Rip.
So what I'll do
Gotta
is...
follow that perfume, I guess.
But what I will do is I will reimburse you your damages.
Varl's like, God damn it.
Because I'm not a total dickhead.
Thank you for being
That is
generous.
so funny. The emissaries just got that hold over us.
It's a good perfume, I guess.
too
Wint,
hot.
make a perception test. Meanwhile, back in the room, let
no.
us do initiative.
Oh, I rolled a 18.
Yeah, the music will come in a moment. Ginny goes at 18. Mattis?
19.
Wow. Okay, go first.
I'm assuming that seeing these masked individuals, I can get a fairly firm assertion that they are hostile towards us.
They appear to be like hostile to everyone in the room.
Right.
Like they're
That's-
guards and
yeah.
they've just been beckoned.
So that being the case, I would like to offer a prayer to Delvorminath.
Okay.
And it's not audible because that's not how prayers to Delvorminath work. The prayers to Delvorminath are personal and in your own soul and mind. And so I think he takes a moment holding the holy symbol that is buried under his shirt with his bloodied hand. He will say in his mind, Delvorminath, I know that curiosity comes with costs, but if you have any desire for us to complete this task you have beset upon us, I know that you'll bring the others to me. And then he's going to reach down and reach down for the dagger, yank it from its sheath, and follow behind GINNY, guarding her flank.
And I will say that at the moment of completing your prayer, you feel absolutely nothing. No response. Nothing. You moved her. Do you wish to take an actual action? I'm happy to give you an actual action.
I will prepare.
Sorry.
I will prepare for someone to move in to attack either myself or GINNY, and my intention is to move with GINNY as she moves.
Okay, so you are holding your action, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. GINNY, you are next at 18.
Okay. Do I have enough space to move here?
Yeah, so the way I do movement in combat is you can move anywhere within the zone and still do your action. If you want to do something more complex, like climb on something or jump over something or whatever, then we'll deal with that. But as far as movement goes, as far as it's within that kind of, as long as it's within this area, you can move anywhere in here without it being problematic.
Cool. Okay, cool. Just like make it make sense. Okay. Yeah. So her goal is to separate the two and put space between Tavane and the emissary and pull her back.
That's not the emissary, by the way.
Oh, geez. I just saw a hot lady and was like, that must be her.
That's a random courtesan of the... it is very possible that I messed up and in my hurry made a token with the emissary's hero forge, but it's meant to be... I'm pretty sure that it's a courtesan. I'm pretty sure it's not the image of the emissary, but they look similar, so...
They deserve to be saved too, so she's gonna do the same thing. Push that beautiful tall woman back, put some space in between them.
She is very dead.
Cool, never mind. Well, I think she wants to get in front of Tavane anyway, so she'll kind of like...
You can do that. So you want to sort of squeeze in here?
Yeah. Just respectfully shimmy her back.
Okay, no problem. Yep.
I would like to, if I have enough action to do this, I would like to put my hands on Tavane's shoulders and like direct his attention to me.
He totally looks at you with this completely unrecognizable gaze. His eyes have turned completely red. And he has this devilish, homicidal grin on his face. And as you turn him to face you, he smiles, blood dripping between his teeth. And he says, "How nice to finally meet you. I've watched you through his eyes for a while."
That was like really creepy for me. Okay, I think it's all I got so far.
At 17, this guard moves in. Alrighty, coming in at you, Miko. So I will let you have your action, Miko, if you want it, since you were holding.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll attack with my dagger. Do
Go
my
for it.
piddly ass damage because I'm not a fighter. That's not bad. That's a 17 to hit.
Double hit.
Yay. My whole 1d4 plus 2 damage. 4.
What kind of damage is
yeah.
the blade doing?
It's piercing.
Is it a magical blade of any sort?
No.
All right. It doesn't seem to have as much impact as you would have liked it to.
Great.
Are they corporeal, by the way?
They seem to be somewhat corporeal. Yeah.
Okay. And they have, you said that they have that their mask is very
Yeah.
similar to, okay. Can I use a free action to speak to Mattis?
Sure.
Get one of the masks now.
All right.
Meanwhile,
I'm assuming these things are like super fucking tall.
they're like humanoid size. They're like regular size.
Oh, okay.
But right now you're being attacked by them.
Yeah.
So 2 attacks each. So I'm assuming these 2 are going to miss. This is going to be a 17, and this is going to be a 15.
On me?
Yeah.
Both hit.
Okay. You need damage separately, or...
Nope. I do not.
Oh my god, I rolled max damage. 12. 12 plus 6, so 18 damage.
Hey.
As their swords come in, and both of them are wielding 2 swords, and they waylay right into you, and there's this strange feeling where the swords feel almost like they're not solid, but they cut through you and open up the wounds just as if they were totally regular, normal swords. The other 2, this one attacks Mattis.
You mean Tavane? Because you already attacked me twice.
Yeah, sorry. And he hits him and does a little bit of damage. And this one's going to attack Ginny. Ginny, I rolled a 20 and a 3.
Good for you.
So that's going to be that's going to be 6 plus 4, 10 plus 3, so 13 points of damage.
Okay.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, what did Wint roll on their perception test?
All right. So first of all, I used
Advantage.
an advantage. Yes, that's the word. I rolled a 23. Beep, 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 beep.
Excellent.
I have a question. Does Wint sleep like...
Yeah. Yeah. With their little feet, they purposely scooch themselves to the very edge of the bed so that they can like swing their feet in their
Oh my
sleep too.
Gosh.
It's a whole production.
You hear someone moving outside. You hear a door open, someone move around, then a door close, kind of very quietly.
Someone else will handle this. Okay, no,
No
I will
problem.
get up.
You go back to sleep.
I will get up.
You can go back to sleep.
I can. No, I'll get up. I am a little bit curious about what's going on.
You get up and pad to the door and open it, and you see Odette in her night clothes walking down the corridor. A little bit strange, almost kind of like in a trance almost, or something like.
I'll pad out into the hallway, but I'll make my foot slap against the floor, see if she kind of makes a...
Yeah, you hear a sound behind you, Odette.
Stop, turn. Event. Good evening. Did I wake you?
Is everything good? Where are you going? Are you, the emissary?
The emissary may have already visited. I had a very odd dream.
Mm,
How are you sleeping?
Pretty good. I did hear the doors. Someone's opening and closing some doors, so I came to check it out. Are you okay?
I'm very, very tired. I can't beat this feeling. There's someone. Do you smell that? Referring to the perfume.
You do. Is a very, very alluring perfume. It inebriates your senses and makes you want to follow it.
Oh yeah, it smells great.
Do we hear whispers?
Nope.
Huh. I don't know where I'm supposed to be, and I'm not comfortable with this situation. Maybe we should check on folks.
Okay. I'll grab my stuff. Let's start opening doors. See where everyone's at.
Return to the doors. Meanwhile, back in the room, back up top at 19, Mattis.
I think it is worth mentioning that Mattis lost 92% of his hit points.
He's not feeling too hot.
Yeah, and you know he's a screamer, so just worth throwing out there. He will drop his dagger and lunge at the mask of one of these individuals and attempt to tear the mask off.
All right, do a unarmed combat roll.
We'll be using an advantage for that.
Okay.
It's a natural 20 for
Nice.
a total of 20.
Excellent.
Nice.
You reach out, grab him, and start unraveling the mask. And as you do, you see wisps and tendrils of sort of mist coming out of it and sort of leaking out of it. As you're doing that, the other one is going to attack you. And because you are kind of wrestling with the other guy, he's going to do so at advantage.
Yeah, I figured.
Oh no.
So that's going to be a 19 on that one. The second attack is going to be...
So the first one will drop me.
Okay. So the sword hits you.
I had 2 hit points, so...
Okay. So you take... the first attack will give you 7 damage. As the sword bites into you, you feel suddenly, just as you're trying to rip off this mask and you see all this stuff coming out and this impassive face looking at you, that other blade just digs right into your back. You feel suddenly your body tense and then go completely slack as you crumple to the floor. Erin, what are you doing?
I have to keep track of the negative damage.
No, it's fine. Ginny, what are you doing? You see Mattis crumple to the floor.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big fuck that. Ginny is going to change tactics, try to be as fucking roguey as possible, pick up Mattis and get as far away from everybody.
Right, so you're gonna get an attack of opportunity from that guy? Unless you have something that prevents that?
I think... Hold on, I think I have...
So your cunning action can be used to disengage.
Do you have?
Yes,
which is a bonus action.
I do. So yeah, I could use disengage, and then you wouldn't be able to. Correct?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I do.
Okay, you disengage. You move out of there. You get to Mattis. You pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I'm gonna try to drag him away with me as well to get to try to leave so that they're just kind of, they feel like they're attacking anybody that's a threat, and if we're farther away than Tavane, then we're less of a threat.
Okay, so you're gonna drag him and you can move up to the door.
Yeah.
This one's gonna continue fighting Tavane. This one, however, is going to pursue you. 'cause
Yeah.
that's what he was doing.
I am also very loud. For anybody that is meandering the halls, help!
So the first one is going to be a 15. The second one is going to be a 13.
Yeah, the first one will probably drop me as well. I'm at 4 hit points.
Yeah, so that's 8 hit points. Same thing. As you're running out of the room, you feel the sword come crashing right into your back. You drop to the ground. As you're both lying there, feeling life ebbing out of you, your blood seeping into the stone floor beneath you, you see 2 of these guards approach you. You hear the sound of fighting as the others are fighting Devane behind, but you can't see what's going on. And each of these guard comes around, pulls out sensory deprivation mask, slips it over your head. You go to open the door to Mattis's room. That perfume smell gets a lot stronger. You turn and you see the emissary standing there. And she says, "We appear to have a problem. Your friends are dead." And on that note, on that note, my friends, we will end tonight's dark.
Oh my god.